Now that we have the Arduino IDE set up, let's go ahead and cover a few basics, and then I'm going to go back and show you that Blinky program, but this time within the Arduino IDE. Now, if you're using the online version, everything is very similar. Things might be in a slightly different place, but all of the same options are available. If you get stuck, just let me know, and I'll help you find whatever you need. So this main body is going to be where we write code. And all Arduino sketches have two things that are always there by default and also as a requirement. One is the setup and the other is the loop. Now this setup is very similar to when we grabbed in the Picto blocks on Arduino startup. That's that block. And then the loop is the block where we clicked that said forever. And so these are always going to be in every single sketch. And these guys here that start with 2 slashes are comments. And so those are just 2 comments that the Arduino IDE puts in for you. This is going to be where we write code. This little black window down here is going to be where we see errors or our compile messages. So keep an eye out on that. And then up at the top here, there's really 2 buttons that we need. This one just compiles the code and it doesn't upload anything. And then this second button uploads it. And it will also compile it if it hasn't been compiled. So the second one will compile and upload. And if your Arduino is not plugged in, it will not be available or it'll give you an error. So I already covered this, but I just want to cover it again in case you missed it on the last video. Once we plug in our Arduino board, we need to come up to Tools, and you're going to see which board do we want to use. And again, there's hundreds of different boards that this program can use, but the board we want to use is this one called the Arduino Uno. So go ahead and click on that. And then with it plugged in, we're going to want to go down to port and pick the port. Chances are there's only one listed, and just go ahead and check that. It may not be COM3. It's a little bit dependent on your computer and which USB port you plugged it into. Now, assuming you don't get any errors by doing that, and there is an option here, then we should be in good shape. If there are no ports listed, then there's a good chance your Arduino is either not plugged in or plugged into a port that's not working, or some bad thing has happened. So if this is here, then you're in good shape. So go ahead and check that. And then I'm going to show you one more button, and we're going to use this a little bit later, but this is where you'll find it. It's called the serial monitor. You can go ahead and click that anytime you want. If your board's plugged in or not, it'll bring this up. This will be a way that we can send messages from our Arduino back to our computer so we can see what's going on. And this is also what's called a serial console, which we're going to cover a little bit later when we get into the Bluetooth module.